A little closer? All right. So we've talked about a lot of things today. We talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. But there's actually one thing that I actually wanted to talk about, which I've actually never heard you mention before, and that's about a month ago or so, I, like most Americans, watched the interview of Bruce Jenner talking about making his transition.
Who?
Bruce. I know. And it was just so interesting because I knew him, when I was younger. I remember him winning the Olympics and being this unbelievable athlete and just sort of like the height of masculinity and everything that was revered at the time as that. And then to realize that there was actually something going on inside that was quite different from that. And it actually got me thinking, because I get being gay and I get autism and I get this is the time of awakening and this is the time of people coming forth to teach unconditional love and to teach acceptance and all that. And I don't really understand.
Not so much to teach it, but to live it.
To live it, to just be an example of it.
Well, you cannot help but teach through the clarity of your example.
Yeah.
But to live it is really the emphasis that we want. Give yourself permission to find your alignment and be it in the face of controversy and disapproval. To be unconditional in your choices. It's not an easy thing to be. As humans, with so many people looking at you, and the more famous you become, the more they want to hold you to the standards that they need to hold you to. Seems like the perfect plan. To come forth, get everybody's attention, and then not be what they want you to be.
Right. But what I don't understand, though,
which gives them the opportunity to find alignment even if you don't be what they want you to be. What a gift. What a gift to say, now I know you like me. How do you like me now?
And that is, it's very much like that. But the thing is, in terms of transgender, what I don't understand, it puts a lot of pressure on the person to have to jump through all these hoops because, yes, it's very easy to be gay. I mean, it wasn't always easy to be gay, but
easy for you to say.
Well, it's like, here I am, accept me as, this is like, now I can say this. At the time, of course, I was looking for approval, and I didn't want it, I didn't want to disappoint me.
Did you stop looking for approval because you got it, or because you got tired of looking for something you couldn't get from those who couldn't give it? Did you stop looking for approval because you got it, or because you got tired of looking for approval from those who couldn't give it? Did you stop looking for approval because you got it, or did you stop looking for it because you got tired of looking for it from those who couldn't give it?
I can't figure it out.
Yes, you can.
I'm having trouble focusing on this discussion. I like being an individual. I actually like pushing people's buttons, and I like being unique. I like kind of keeping people guessing, and I like being a little eccentric and a little off. The thing is, my sister and I, coming into this world, we kind of like flipped the gender roles, if you will. She's an older sister, and she was an amazing athlete, and she was an all-American athlete, and I was more the artist. And so that was an arrangement that came from non-physical. Hey,
yes.
let's forward,
yes.
And let's actually keep people kind of guessing, and let's
no,
entertain.
Not that. Let's go live happily ever after on our own terms.
Yes.
And let other people deal with it or not.
Yes.
That's not any of our business. Let's go live a little unconditional love. Let's find the resourceful resources of source and not look for it in all the wrong places. Let's not ask others to be the source of that which we are. That conversation's getting boring to you today because we've been saying it so many times in so many different ways. But all of you came into this physical experience for the intention of having a really delicious physical experience in your unique way. None of you came intending to conform, no matter how conformed you appear to be. None of you are very good at conforming. You are all so uniquely yourselves, but most of you don't know it because you have been attempting to conform because it goes better for you, and your parents and teachers make that known to you pretty early on. It'll go better for you if you'll just do it our way, is the basic message of those who got here first. And all of you say, okay, but none of you mean it. Have you ever met anyone, and we're really talking to you about you? We're asking it in the softer way so you can answer it honestly. Have you ever known anyone who didn't think they were right? You think you're right, and the reason you think you're right is because you are. Your life has helped you come to the conclusions that you've come to, you say. And so you are right, but the belief that you have to defend your rightness against someone else, that's what messes you up, because they're right too. So they're right and you're right. How can that be? They want different things. They see things differently. Abraham, how can we all be right? Because law of attraction is responding to each of you and will help each of you build the world around you that is predominant in the vibration that you offer. So we're not talking about right behaviors or right piles of this or right piles of that. We're talking about each of you having the individual right to offer a vibration and have universal forces respond to the vibration to reflect back to you whatever it is that you're offering, period. There's no judgment in the sky. There's no one arbitrating. There's no one concluding the way you should live. There's no one trying to guide you from the way you're living into some other way of living. This is just you being the creator of your own experience, you say.
Okay, I get it. I do. But what I don't understand is that for somebody coming forth as transgender to actually come forth and to feel as though they're in the wrong body and to have to jump through all these hoops in order to come into alignment. Like, if that person wanted to come into alignment, then do they really need to go through the hormonal therapy?
Of course not.
And
of course not.
But then
there are way more easy ways of alignment, but that's not your business or ours.
It's just so interesting, though. I just want to understand it. I want to understand transgender because it seems.
Well, we could talk for a long time and still not come to any understanding. When someone says understanding, what they usually mean is, I would like you to explain this my way. I'd like you to make what I think about this somehow fit.
What is the arrangement from non-physical, from that perspective? So, like somebody coming forth transgender, do they intend to come forth and to change genders, or is it just another path of, here I am, accept me as I am, even though I have to go through all of this, I have to turn myself inside out.
It's more like this.
And endure a lot of pain and a lot of.
It's more like this. So this is the question that we just heard from you. When I have been molded by society, rather than staying in tune and in sync with my source energy, are all of the decisions that I make the best possible decisions that I could make? And the answer to that is absolutely not. This is the question we heard you ask. Is there an easier way to go about it? Absolutely. From your non-physical perspective, you are vibration. You are not male or female. Gender is not relevant. You are not gay or lesbian or transgender. You are vibration. So when you think in terms of being vibration first and foremost, then everything else becomes irrelevant by comparison. When we say the path of least resistance leads to your alignment, most people are not understanding that the path of least resistance leads to alignment, and from alignment you might make different decisions. If you are not following your path of least resistance, and so you are not coming into alignment, then of course you make all kinds of decisions that don't turn out to be very good decisions, which just lead you to stronger wanting and stronger desire. If there is anything that we want to give you in response to the strong question that you are offering here, is that there is nothing that is meant to be other than to be the creator of your experience and get to choose it as you go along. And what we most want to give you in answer to this very powerful question is that you've got to find some way, and you're going to argue with this just a little bit, and we're going to explain that too. You've got to find some way to make it all right with you, and you're going to say it is, to make it all right with you that anyone choose whatever they want to choose. So then your next question is, it's not that I disagree with what anyone else is choosing, I just want to understand it. And we say, you can't. You can't understand because you don't know what the vibrational intent was coming in. We'll tell you it was living happily ever after. You don't know what life experience was like. You don't know what someone else puts into their vortex. You only know for yourself. And the thing about trying to get to the bottom of what makes somebody else tick is that in the process of trying to get to the bottom of what makes somebody else tick, you tick out of sync with who you are. Because as you try to integrate into your experience an understanding of where they're coming from, let's try to understand terrorism, for example. Well, in the attempt to understand it, you activate within yourself things that keep you out of whack with who you are. In other words, in your desire to understand why anybody else is living the way that they are, for every moment that you're doing that, you're not syncing up with who you are, and you're not receiving the guidance about who you are and why you are here. You see what we're getting at? We know there's no judgment on your part. We know that you're not trying to get somebody else to be different than they are. We know that you're just wanting to understand. But the intentions from non-physical are not the way you as humans often are wanting to translate them to be. When we say to you, you came for the sheer joy and fun and delight of creating your own experience, you mostly want to say, okay, but what's the real reason? And we say, you came for the joy and the fun and the delight and the pleasure of being in a physical body and getting to come to your conclusions and getting to change them as you go. You came to show yourself how Source will back you up in anything that this time-space reality can inspire within you. You came for the experience of that, you see. And you say, yeah, but what's the real reason?